Episode 1, Elena Reed hated heels. Her toes screamed in pain as she balanced the silver tray on her left hand, weaving through the sea of glittering gowns and expensive tuxedos. The ballroom shimmered with crystal chandeliers and golden candlelight, but all she saw were tipsy guests and champagne flutes. No one here cared that she was human, tired, and one mistake away from being fired. This was the kind of place where you smiled until your cheeks hurt, where rich people laughed without actually being happy. Elena didn't belong here, but rent was due. Champagne? She asked in her most polite voice, offering her tray to a couple locked in shallow conversation. The woman took a glass without a word. The man didn't even look at her. She moved on, careful not to let her frustration show. This was Manhattan's most exclusive gala, and Elena was just a temp waitress from a staffing agency that didn't even spell her name right on her badge. Her eyes drifted toward the orchestra stage. Music filled the room, slow and elegant. She should have felt like Cinderella. Instead, she felt invisible, though. Then everything changed in 1 second. A man stepped backwards into her path, fast and unaware. Elena gasped. The tray tipped. Champagne bottles clinked. 2 full flutes leaped into the air and landed directly on the back of the man's black designer suit. Oh my God, she whispered, frozen. He turned around slowly. Everyone said time slows down in moments like this. That was a lie. It didn't slow, it exploded. He was tall, broad shoulders, impossibly handsome. His face looked carved from a marble, sharp jaw. Deep-set eyes the color of a storm, and lips that didn't seem built for smiling. Dark brown hair brushed back in lazy waves. His presence sucked the air out of the room. She knew him. Adrien Leopold. Valmont, CEO of Veltec, billionaire. Former European royal. Tabloid favorite. The man who once dated a princess and dumped her over email. The same man who bought an island in Greece just to get some peace. And she'd just dumped 2 drinks on him. I'm so sorry, she stammered, grabbing a napkin. I didn't see you. It's fine, he said, his voice low and calm. That surprised her. No yelling, no attitude, no tantrum. He glanced down at the soaked back of his suit, then at her tray, still wobbling in her hand. He raised an eyebrow. You sure that thing doesn't have a grudge against me? She blinked. Excuse me. He stepped closer. The tray. It attacked. Despite herself, a small laugh escaped her lips. Guess it just has good taste. Adrien studied her like she was some rare animal. She met his gaze, refusing to look away. His eyes narrowed, amused. You're not like the rest of them, he said. She swallowed. I'm wearing $5 pantyhose and serving drinks to people who spend more on socks than I make in a month. Yeah, I know. His lips twitched. Not quite a smile, but close. Name? He asked. Why? Planning to sue me? If I were, I wouldn't need your name, he said smoothly. I could just describe those eyes. Her heart kicked hard. Elena, she said, hating how breathless she sounded. Elena Reed? Elena, he repeated slowly, tasting it like wine. Pretty name. She couldn't stop staring. Something about him was dangerous. Too much confidence, too much power. But there was something else, something quieter, like sadness wrapped in gold. Before she could speak again, a security man appeared beside her. Double quote, sir, do you want me to have her removed? The guard asked stiffly, glaring at Elena like she'd ruined the world. Adrien didn't take his eyes off her. No, she stays. The guard hesitated. But your suit. It's just a suit. Adrien leaned closer to Elena. His voice dropped to a murmur. But you're interesting. Her skin tingled. He didn't flirt like a normal guy. He studied her like a puzzle he couldn't solve. Elena, he said again, slower this time. Tell me something. What? Do you believe in accidents? She frowned. What kind of question is that? The kind you ask when a stranger crashes into your life and instead of being angry, you feel alive for the first time in years. She stepped back, flustered. You're very dramatic. He smiled now, finally. And you're very refreshing. She didn't know what to say to that. Her hand tightened around the tray. I should keep working. You should come find me later, he said. We're not done. She turned and walked away before she could answer, heart pounding like a drum. Elena escaped to the staff hallway behind the ballroom and leaned against the wall, trying to calm down. What the hell was that? He was Adrien freaking Valmont. He dated modeler. He owned private jets. She lived with 2 roommates and barely had enough in her wallet for the subway ride home. She shouldn't even be thinking about him. But she was. The way he looked at her. Like she wasn't just some waitress. Like she was a secret only he saw. And worse, the way he made her feel. Like something deep inside her had been lit on fire. She took a deep breath, shook herself out of the daze, and went back to work. By midnight, the gala was slowing down. Most guests were tipsy, full, and glued to their phones. Elena had made it through her shift without spilling anything else. She was ready to go home, take off these evil heels, and disappear under her blankets. Hey, Elena, her shift manager called. Someone's waiting for you out front. Black car. She blinked. What? Guy said, your name. Had a driver. Looked expensive. Did you give your number out again? I never gave it out in the first place. Curious and a little nervous. Elena stepped outside. Cold air hit her skin. The night was quiet, except for the soft hum of a black Rolls-Royce parked at the curb. The back window rolled down. Adrien Valmont. Of course. You again, she said flatly. I told you we weren't done. Look, if this is about flirting with the help, I'm not interested. He smirked. It's not, then what? I like you, he said simply. And I don't usually like anyone. Wow, she said, arms crossed. So special. I'm not asking you to marry me, just join me for a drive. Or a drink. Or, hell, a conversation where I don't have to pretend to care about hedge funds and family names. She hesitated. I don't bite, he added softer, unless you want me to. A rush of heat shot through her body. She hated how much that line worked. She bit her lip, thought about her tiny apartment, her empty fridge, her boring life. Then she thought about him. Tall, bold, intense, untouchable. Yet here he was, touching her world. Screw it. Fine, she said, but no creepy rich guy stuff. I'll be on my best behavior, he promised. She opened the car door and slid into the leather seat beside him. The ride was smooth and silent at first. Adrien watched her more than the window. His gaze made her nervous, but also alive. Why me? She asked suddenly. He shrugged. You're real. Not fake smiles and fake lips. You don't pretend. I'm poor. That's not the same. I was born in a castle, Elena, raised by people who measured love in currency. I've been surrounded by money my whole life. I've had everything, and still felt nothing. He turned to her. But when you looked at me tonight, I felt something. She swallowed. No one talks to me the way you do, he added. Like I'm just a man, not a prince, not a brand. She looked away. Maybe I don't care who you are. I hope you don't, he said, because I think that's exactly why I want you. The car stopped in front of a building she didn't recognize. Tall, private, expensive. Your place? She asked. My top floor suite, he said, but we don't have to go up. I can take you home if you want. She hesitated. Everything about this screamed danger, but her body was already betraying her. The way he looked at her with hunger and admiration, like she was the only thing in the world that could silence his noise. Okay, she whispered. They rode the elevator in silence. He didn't touch her, didn't press her, just stood close enough for her to feel his warmth. When they entered his suite, it was like stepping into a different universe. Glass walls, marble floors, dim lights glowing like candlelight. You live in a hotel? She asked, stunned. It's easier, he said. Less lonely, somehow. She turned to him. He was watching her again, quiet, still, waiting. You don't have to pretend, Elena, he said. If you want to leave, I'll call the car. She didn't move. Instead, she walked closer. Her fingers touched the edge of his lapel, still slightly damp from earlier. He caught her wrist, gently. "Are you sure?" he asked, voice low. She nodded. "No games, just honesty." He leaned in. "Then I'll be honest. I've never wanted anything the way I want you." Then his lips were on hers, and everything else disappeared.